I looked over at the end of his YouTube chat and I was like almost in tears. Like every second comment was like, he's cheating, he's cheating, he's cheating. I'm literally pushing a pass pawn forward to a promotion. And listen, I'm not owed anything by anybody, but it would have been nice if like one or two more people spoke out. I'm not saying they had to do a stream or like Vishy Anand had to command the whole one or two words to show that like this is not acceptable.
No, I talked earlier on another interview that I gave about this. I've sort of been less nice about the particular individuals driving this agenda forward over time, because I gave them the benefit of the doubt the first month. The second month I was a little bit more firm. By now, I've made it very clear to people I'm a retired 2600 player. I've got absolutely nothing to prove. The people pretending like I've never played an OTB event, like I've never played casual blitz ask any top player in the US, Fabi, Levon, anybody, literally anybody who I've played casual blitz with, how I play. So the fact that this has been going on for as long as it has been it's deeply frustrating to me. And not because it's me personally. If I depersonalize myself, it's a great shame. So when the history of chess is going to be written, this will be a very, very dark chapter. And it'll be a dark chapter not just because Vlad has been allowed to go on with his nonsense for as long as he has, but because behind the scenes, some top players are not outspoken enough to make it clear that the patients are not running the insane asylum. So it is shameful that I'm sort of involved in this, embroiled in this. I'm just here to have fun. I'm here to enjoy New York. I'm here to enjoy chess. I'm under no illusions. If I do well and make the top 8, I'll be really thrilled. Right now, the luck is on my side once again.
The chess world has been shaken to its core. News of American Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky's sudden and tragic death has left fans, players, and entire communities across the globe struggling to process what happened. And now, for the first time since that heartbreaking day, Daniel's mother, Elena Naroditsky, has broken her silence, sharing a deeply emotional account of what her son endured before his untimely passing. Her words have given the world a glimpse into the pain behind the headlines, a pain that cuts far deeper than most could ever imagine. Daniel wasn't just another chess player. He was a symbol of everything people loved about the game: intelligence, creativity, patience, and kindness. To millions, he was Danya, the calm, thoughtful teacher whose voice guided them through chess puzzles and endgames on YouTube and Twitch. His talent was undeniable, but what made him truly special was his humility. He wasn't just brilliant at chess, he made others believe they could be brilliant too. But behind that calm demeanor, behind the charming smile fans saw online, Daniel was quietly fighting a battle that few knew about. In her first public statement, Elena Naroditsky spoke from her home in California, her voice trembling with both love and grief. She described her son as a brilliant, loving, and deeply sensitive soul. She said Daniel wasn't the kind of person who thrived on competition or fame. He simply loved the game, loved teaching, and loved sharing that passion with others. But in the months leading up to his death, something had changed. Daniel had been struggling with the emotional toll of being accused, again and again, of something he insisted he never did.
But this is a sustained, evil, and absolutely unhinged attempt to destroy my life. And I really don't, I'm tired of mincing words at this point. He is trying to ruin my life. He's trying to inflict emotional harm, physical harm on me. He knows exactly what he's doing. And this is one of the most wicked people that I've ever dealt with. I'm not trying to seek attention with this, but the people who are buying into this narrative, they exist.
For Daniel, Elena explained, there was nothing more important than his dignity and his name as a chess player. He worked his whole life for it, and then one person kept saying he was a cheater. That one person, according to Elena, was Vladimir Kramnik, a legendary former world champion from Russia. Over the past few years, Kramnik had become one of the loudest voices in an online crusade against alleged cheating in internet chess. What began as a discussion about fairness in online games soon spiraled into a storm of public accusations and heated debates. And unfortunately, Daniel found himself right at the center of it. Kramnik had accused multiple players, some directly, others through implication, of using computer assistance during online matches. Many in the chess world saw it as an obsession, a kind of personal mission that grew more extreme over time. While some appreciated his concern for the integrity of the game, others criticized his approach, saying that his public statements and social media posts were reckless and harmful. Among the many names Kramnik mentioned, one kept resurfacing: Daniel Naroditsky. To the outside world, it might have seemed like just another online argument. But for Daniel, it wasn't. These accusations weren't just words. They struck at the very foundation of who he was. His reputation, built over years of dedication and teaching, was suddenly being questioned by one of the most respected figures in the sport. To someone as principled and introspective as Daniel, that was devastating. Elena said her son was tormented by the constant attention and the cloud of suspicion that seemed to follow him everywhere. Daniel, who had always prided himself on honesty and sportsmanship, couldn't stand the idea that anyone, let alone millions of online viewers, might see him as dishonest. He wasn't angry as much as he was hurt. The accusations made him question himself, his community, and even the very game he loved so deeply. Despite the growing negativity, Daniel tried to keep doing what he did best: teaching, streaming, and encouraging others. He continued posting videos, sharing insights, and staying positive on camera. But privately, his mother said, the pressure was wearing him down. He stopped sleeping well. He became quieter, more withdrawn. Friends noticed he was spending less time socializing and more time alone. Those closest to him say that the past several months were some of the hardest of his life. Even though many fans and fellow grandmasters spoke out in his defense, the emotional damage had already been done. It's one thing to lose a game. Every chess player does. But to lose your good name, your sense of trust in the community you helped build, that's a much deeper kind of loss. Elena's voice broke when she recalled how deeply her son cared about integrity. Daniel couldn't stand lies, she said. He believed in fairness, in life and in chess. He couldn't understand how people could say such things without proof.
I looked over at the end of his YouTube chat and I was like almost in tears. Like every second comment was like, he's cheating, he's cheating, he's cheating. I'm literally pushing a pass pawn forward to a promotion. And listen, I'm not owed anything by anybody, but it would have been nice if like one or two more people spoke out. I'm not saying they had to do a stream or like Vishy Anand had to command the whole one or two words to show that like this is not acceptable.
In the end, it seems that what truly broke Daniel wasn't just the accusations themselves, but the endless cycle of online speculation, comments, and negativity that surrounded them. He had always been someone who valued thoughtfulness and reason. Yet the internet is rarely either of those things. The constant noise, the public debates, the endless scrutiny, all of it became too much. Then came the unthinkable news. Police in Charlotte, North Carolina, confirmed that Daniel Naroditsky was found dead in his home last weekend. There were no signs of foul play. Authorities are currently awaiting toxicology results to determine whether his death was the result of suicide or an accidental overdose. It was one of Daniel's closest friends, fellow Grandmaster Alexander Bortnik, who discovered him after being unable to reach him for several days. The loss hit the chess world like a shockwave. Within hours, tributes flooded social media. Fans shared clips of Daniel's streams, remembering his calm voice, his jokes, and his unshakable kindness. Fellow grandmasters spoke of his brilliance and humility, while students from around the world wrote about how he had inspired them to love the game. But alongside the grief came something darker, a wave of anger and frustration directed at the culture that may have contributed to his pain. Many began asking hard questions about accountability, mental health, and the impact of online harassment in competitive spaces. For Elena, those questions are still too painful to answer. All she wants now is for her son to be remembered for who he really was, not for the controversy that surrounded him, but for the joy he brought to millions. He gave everything to chess, she said softly. All I want is for people to remember him for that, for his heart. Daniel Naroditsky's story isn't just one of loss. It's a reminder of how fragile even the strongest minds can be when faced with relentless pressure and public scrutiny. Behind every grandmaster, every content creator, every online personality, there's a human being, someone with feelings, fears, and limits. When the news broke about what had happened to Daniel Naroditsky, the chess world froze. It didn't feel real. It didn't even feel possible. One of the kindest, most respected figures in the game was suddenly gone, leaving behind an ocean of confusion, grief, and unanswered questions. And the moment that truth became real, the moment it stopped being a rumor and turned into reality, came when Daniel's close friend, Grandmaster Alexander Bortnik, went to check on him. According to reports, Bortnik had been trying to reach Daniel for several days. The two were close. More than colleagues, they were friends. When messages went unanswered and calls went straight to voicemail, Bortnik grew worried. So he did what any true friend would do. He drove to Daniel's home in Charlotte, North Carolina, hoping everything was fine, hoping maybe Daniel had just been taking a break or had fallen asleep with his phone off. But what he found inside that home was something no one should ever have to witness. Police later confirmed that there were no signs of foul play, and toxicology tests are still pending to determine the cause of death. But the emotional impact of that moment, the image of a close friend finding someone so dear to him gone, will forever haunt those who love Daniel. It was a moment that marked the end of a life and the beginning of a heartbreaking chapter for the global chess community. In the days that followed, Daniel's mother, Elena Naroditsky, opened up about what her son had been going through. She described Daniel as someone who had always been strong, disciplined, and grounded. The kind of person who could stay calm even in the most intense situations. But recently, that strength had been tested like never before. The constant wave of online accusations and public scrutiny had taken a toll that few could see from the outside. Chess was Daniel's life, Elena said softly. It was his purpose, his joy, and his way of giving back to others. But when people questioned his honesty, when they took that away from him, it broke something inside him. For those who knew Daniel, that statement hit hard. Chess wasn't just a game for him. It was the language through which he expressed himself. He had spent nearly his entire life mastering it, sharing it, and helping others find joy in it. From writing books to coaching young players at the Charlotte Chess Center, Daniel lived to teach and inspire. His streams weren't just lessons. They were conversations, filled with laughter, insight, and warmth. He wasn't trying to show off. He was trying to connect. And that's what makes this tragedy so painful. To so many people, Daniel was the reason they fell in love with chess in the first place. He made it feel human, accessible, and fun. He didn't chase drama or fame. He chased understanding. And yet behind that calm, thoughtful exterior, he was fighting a storm that almost no one saw coming. Over the past year, false cheating accusations had spread online, fueled by heated debates and viral speculation. Even though there was no proof, even though Daniel's record and integrity were spotless, the damage was done. Words have weight, especially in public spaces, and for someone as thoughtful and self-reflective as Daniel, those words cut deep. Elena said her son had always admired many of the players who later questioned him. He looked up to them, respected them, even modeled parts of his play style after theirs. So when those same people, or their supporters, began doubting him publicly, it felt like betrayal. He tried to brush it off at first. He stayed quiet, kept teaching, kept smiling for his students and fans. But as time went on, that quiet strength began to crumble. He started losing sleep. He became withdrawn, sometimes going days without speaking much to anyone except his closest friends. And even then, his friends noticed something different in his tone. A tiredness, a sadness that seemed to grow deeper with every passing week. Daniel's death has forced the chess world to look in the mirror. How could a community built on intelligence, patience, and respect turn into a place where someone like Daniel felt crushed by judgment? How could people who pride themselves on logic and fairness allow rumor and hostility to spread unchecked? These are the questions now echoing through every corner of the chess world. Questions that don't have easy answers. As tributes pour in from across the globe, one thing has become painfully clear. Daniel was more than just a chess player. He was a teacher, a mentor, and a friend to countless people who never even met him in person. Messages from fans have flooded social media, stories about how Daniel's videos helped them through tough times, how his calm demeanor inspired them to play with patience, how his humor made them feel seen and understood. Grandmasters, commentators, and streamers have all shared their grief, describing Daniel as an extraordinary mind and a truly good person in a world that doesn't always reward goodness. Many have also called for a deeper conversation about mental health and online toxicity, not just in chess, but in every competitive community. Because what happened to Daniel isn't just a chess story, it's a human story. It's about how even the smartest, strongest, and kindest people can be brought down by constant negativity. It's about how online spaces, which should unite people, can sometimes become breeding grounds for cruelty and suspicion. False accusations, whether made out of anger or carelessness, can destroy lives. They can isolate people, make them doubt themselves, and in the worst cases, lead to outcomes no one can take back. The internet moves fast, but the damage it causes doesn't fade as quickly. Elena Naroditsky said something simple, but powerful, something the entire chess community should take to heart. She said, "I just want people to remember my son for who he really was, a kind soul, a brilliant mind, and someone who loved the game more than anything." That's the Daniel she knew. That's the Daniel the world should remember. He wasn't defined by controversy, but by compassion. He wasn't a victim of scandal, but a symbol of grace, patience, and integrity in a world that often forgets those values. As the investigation continues and the chess community gathers to honor his memory, one truth stands above all. Daniel Naroditsky's story is not just about loss. It's a reminder that even the brightest minds are human, that even the calmest voices can be carrying pain, and that compassion should always come before pride, ego, or accusation. In the end, Daniel taught us more than chess. He taught us empathy, and that may be his most lasting move of all.